Thank you for being here today. I would like to show you the way that we can support hormones with our biofeedback system. Okay, and the reason why I decided to start with hormones is because hormones are crucial and they're pretty much in charge of all chemical messages in the body. So whenever we're dealing with any symptoms or any issues, that means that those messages are not being able to get to whatever they need to be at the exact time. So it's always good to double check how the hormones are working in the system when we're dealing with any situation. So allow me to share my screen. Wait a second. I will need to put this. Okay, so I'm going to share the screen. And for the purpose of this training, I decided that I'm not going to hook the device so we can move in all the panels a little bit quicker. Okay, so we can do that faster. And I'll actually like move across all the panels that I want to show you today. Okay, and I will try to do that in 1 hour. So I'm going to put myself in here. So we're going to create the client. So in this talk, I decided to leave everything in blank as I don't want the data to be different. I really want to have like the most accurate result in the test. And so once we're done this, we're going to close here. No biorhythm. We'll go to calibration. And in here, we can decide whether we want to use chronic or comprehensive matrix. I'm used to using both, but because I'm following also Gail's sessions, I'm going to hit comprehensive matrix. And in here, okay, we're going to click the fast track calibration program. And this is going to be like the first connection that the system actually has like with the unconscious mind of the person. And it's also going to start reading all the geopathies and everything that is around the person like interfering. So let's see. We're calculating. And because I'm not hooked to the device, sometimes it works a little bit different, okay? So let me, okay, the device is not working. Of course it's not working. Okay. Okay. So there we are. So now we're going to go, now that we're here in the main matrix, okay, we're going to conduct the test. So I hit here, test. Now test is done. Okay, so I'll always click here, flow with salt. And now, usually as soon as I finish the test, I like to go to risk profile and I will go and set up all the background programs before I start like working. So in here, in the risk profile, because today we're working with hormones, I'm going to click here, hormonal, right? And I will also click the 2 highest and the 2 lowest, okay? So we're gonna click this. We're gonna treat the areas above, and I'm going to click here for therapy, and I'll bring this information to the universal panel, okay? So in here, in the universal panel, I will also make sure to add all the organs that I want to work to regulate the hormones, okay? So give me a second. I'm going to copy paste that information from this other file. Whoops. So we're going to, okay. So I'm going to add in here hypothalamus, like the pituitary gland, the parathyroid gland, pancreas, the pineal gland, and I will also add in here the endocrine system. Okay, so for emotions, for the purpose of this training, I'm not going to go look the exact ones. I'm going to click all, and then I'll start the Schumann wave. If I was working, like if I were to work with another client, I will definitely hit here the multimedia, but because I'm working on myself, I'm not going to activate this. So now that I have this running in the back, we're going to close this, and I'm going to open the body viewer, iridology. So in the meantime, I'm going to treat all traumas, right? And the DGen scan. And I got used to working with 4 disease dictionaries, so I'm going to open the 4 of them. Let me see. Whoops. Okay, I only need 4. So I have 3, this. So I'm going to hit here. Okay, and now from here, I will also activate the organ generator, and I'm going to put it here. My hormones are balanced. We can activate this. So, okay, we're going to activate this, close, we can hide. And now from here, I like to also activate the shaping function. Oh, okay, so in here I see cortisol, and I also always like to keep love first. So we're gonna put love and cortisol in here. Now we can go back to the main matrix. And from here, oh, Nancy, join us. Okay, so from here, now that we're back in the matrix and I have like all the background programs open, we can start with the hormones, okay? So we can click here and search for hormones. Usually, okay, I don't like to write the entire word because sometimes we have like misspellings in the system. And I noticed that when I don't finish the entire work, I will have more options as well, okay? So from here, we can empty the info box, and I can either we can either treat one by one. So when we click here and we press treat, we can click there, or we can drag this information into the info box, and then we can click all of them at once. So for the purpose of the training and for saving time, I'm going to drag all the information that I find relevant to the hormone balance into the info box, so we can do that all at once, okay? But if I were working with a client, I will do probably not more than 3 or 4, and I will write down all the other information. And if I have extra time, I will work those separately. Okay, so but in here, what I really want us to do is to look for hormone. We are going to also look for the endocrine. Okay, wait a second. Let me just check in my notes. Also, I want to make sure to open all the channel flows. So we're going to look for 7461. Okay. Okay, and this one is reactivity as well. Okay, so I also want to make sure that I provide minerals to the body. Okay, so we're gonna hit here 415 for the isotonic plasma. And I want to mineralize the body, make sure that the body has like resources to work with. Okay. Okay, perfect. And now I also want to see the hypothalamus. Okay, so we're gonna check for this. Okay, we can see here this one is also reactive. So we're gonna work with this, the pineal, pituitary, and hypothalamus, right? We see in here that these are remedies, but I want to make sure that I can find the SAR code. So give me a second. Okay, so for the pituitary SAR code, it's 1831. So check here. Okay, so and I will also add it into the info box, okay? So once I have all this, let me just check for the endocrine system. Whoops. Okay, let me see. Okay, the endocrine system, I only have this in red. And I'll take the time to read in here. Okay, this is for the prostate, male. Okay, so okay, so from this list, I'm going to use the ones that are in red. Okay, and I know this one says prostate, but it's also for the kidneys, and I want to make sure the kidneys are also in balance. So now that I have all this information, we can load. We're going to load the report, and I'm going to treat all these items at once. I'm not sure if you noticed that with the new software, sometimes we need to click here, like sometimes it's like 10, 20 times depending on the client. So because of that, I decided not to connect the device, okay? So once we reach in here 100% or above 85%, it's okay and we can move over. Also, I like to pay attention to the words that comes in here. So sometimes you will get like, for example, 90%, but the excellent is not there yet. So I will keep going until I get like excellent, okay? Once we have excellent, I think it's always better than what you don't. And for me, this is kind of like a reassurance that you're going like on the good direction. And it's also reassuring me that the body is responding to the information that we are providing, okay? So because when I'm conducting a session, this takes a long time. So when this is like taking time, that is the time that I will use to set up the background programs. But because we did it like in a speed of a light time, I'm going to take a couple of minutes to set up this. So when we're working with hormones, it is really important for us to focus in the endocrine system. So what I'll do is that you can come here and select all, or sometimes I will literally just pick the specific areas that I want to focus, okay? So in here, I'm going to go with adrenal. Whoops. So we are going to go with the hypothalamus. Okay. So we're gonna go here. And because I know like the history of the client, in this case is myself, I have very long periods and I'm trying to regulate my periods. So I'm going to work with my thyroid and ovaries, oops, also hypothalamus, also, whoops, the parathyroid. Since I'm here, I always also select lymph. We want to make sure that we're able to detox the body. I will also select kidneys, right, liver, and large intestines. I just want to make sure that I open all the detox channels. So in here, we're gonna hit skin as well. And we can leave this to work in the background. Now, okay, in here, in the iridology panel, I'm going to choose the brain, the hypothalamus section. So we're going to, activating here the brain. Since I'm here, I always like to activate the eyes. In here, I'm going to activate the lymph. In here, the endocrine system. Right here, we're going to do the endocrine system as well. In here, the outer nervous system, right? Wait a second. And in here, I just want to make sure that the liver and the kidneys are working well. Okay, so I'm going to add all the piggybacks in here as well. It generated and mutated. So we're going to activate this. I always like to auto search for the dental foci. Since we are there, it's always good to do that, and we never know like the connection that we have with our teeth. Okay, I also activate this, but I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to leave it in here. For the iridology panel, the thing that we learned in the last convention last year is that the system is going to continue to run on whatever screen you have. So if this is the screen you are able to see, this is the therapy that is running. So if you want to change it, you can come back later and then move to another tab. Okay. And in here, for the hormone support, let me see here in the dictionary disease, you can create your own hormone support SAP, okay? So to create the hormone support SAP, you can right click on top of here and then you add a new name, okay? And you can put the name of whatever SAP you're creating. So I'm going to put here hormone. Okay, I'm going to put a different name because I already created this. So I'm going to put number 2 with asterisk so I know I can come here later and delete it. Okay, then you click yes. You go all the way back to the name that you just created, click on it. You go here where it says show text and go to therapy. In this area, you can paste all the numbers from the main matrix. I took these numbers and I took all the numbers that are related to hormones and hormones regulations and also remedies, crystals, all of that. Once you have this, you have to hit calibrate, okay? And after that, we're going to save it. What? Okay, so I'm gonna give some time to this and we're going to move on to the universal. Okay, so we're gonna go here to universal, and here in universal, let me see. Okay, so we can either work here with the meridians, okay? And I'm going to provide a PDF with all the information that I'm sharing today. So we have here the meridians. Usually I like to always do the outer meridian and retest until everything is settled. But we also have like specific points for this. So we have REN 4. Oops, wait a second. Well, we can either work one by one or we can also put them in here, okay? So I think this is gonna be a lot faster. So we can do REN 4 and then REN 6, okay? Then we're gonna work with Spleen 6, okay? We're going to also work with liver 3, and we're going to work with stomach 36, okay? And in here, we can, whoops, did I just delete them? Sorry. 4, REN 6. I also said kidney 3. Sorry about that. Spleen 6, liver 3, and oops, stomach 36. So we can start. And in here, we're going to do this until the green bar goes all the way up. Okay. Okay. Oh, and until we get 100% in here. So we're going to close here. We're going to close here. So because we are trying to balance like all hormones, I also like to hit scalar, and usually I do treat all, but we can also focus only in the upper chakra section where the hypothalamus is, like we're focusing on the brain. and in the pituitary gland, okay? So once we have that, we have two options in here. We can either go to activate frequency modulation programs, and in here, we want to make sure that we balance the nervous system, okay? Or we can go here to find therapies, then we can open enable time therapies, and we have in here start auto-hormonal treatment. So before I do that, we can go here and click on max, and then we can start the hormonal balancing treatment here, and we can double check in here the rectification. So we can do it again until we hit, oops, oh, it's here. Okay, so we can work that in here until we get to 100% or above 85, okay? Okay, so I'm going to stop. We hit 97. I think that's good enough. And I already have in here the alarm response. So I'm going to double click the alarm. Okay, so we can hide this. We can hide this. We're gonna close this. And from here, we can go all the way back to, okay, quick therapy is 4. In here, we also can do hormonal balance, okay? When I'm working in hormonal balance, I also like to work with brain waves, okay? Because when we're working with the hormones, we also need the brain to be well balanced and working fine. I usually put in here like 45, so we're going to start. Very good. Okay. Okay, we're gonna give some time. And 98 is a very good number, so I'm going to leave it like that. But before leaving this panel, we're going to rectify. Okay, now we can close. From here, I'm going to go to short start codes. Okay, and we're going to go here for ear and etc. We're going to work on the endocrine system until we reach 100%. Whoops, I have an alarm in the background, so we're going to close this. Perfect. Now, after going to short circuits, we can go here to the spinal panel. Okay, in this panel, we're going to take a little bit more of time. I always like to open the original circuit results, because once we hit here, we have this new hidden button that will come out, okay? In here, I can also see the exact numbers of my chakra system. So because I'm trying to balance in the hormones, I want to make sure that the crown chakra is well balanced, and I can do that like that we previously did in the scalar, in the universal panel, but I also like to work that in here. Since I have the brown also out of balance, I'm going to hit both. Okay, and from here, we're going to go to the time therapies. And it's very important that when working, balancing out the hormones, to work in the hypothalamus. Okay, so we're going to work that out. Usually, I like to select these two columns, like the middle ones and this one. So we're going to work again in the hypothalamus until we get 100% rectification or above 85. Then we'll go here to the pituitary gland as well. So we also need to work that out. Okay. And then in here, we got 100%. And we also have in here female hormone balance. So we can click this one as well. Okay. Now we're going to cut out of here and we are going back to the SPORE program. In the SPORE program, I don't know if you noticed, but with the new software or with the new update, if you hover on top of the hormones, you are going to see the numbers for the reactivity, okay? So you'll see the reactivities. So once you're here, you can decide which ones you can select by the reactivity. So sometimes you will see the reactivity is above 100 or 104. That means that it's recently out of balance. And if you see in here, for example, this one is 47, that means that it's been out of balance for a long time. So it's not necessarily related to the to what I'm trying to target in this session, but because it's below and I want to balance all hormones, I'm going to click to this one as well. So let me see. Okay, cortisol is okay. Luteinizing hormone is already in red. The program is showing us that we need to balance this as well. I want to make sure that we balance progesterone. Let me see the growth hormone. Okay, growth hormone is also showing a very low number in reactivity. Adrenaline is okay. This one is okay. Okay, the T3, it's getting into balance. When I started doing this, my T3 was like really, really low. I think it was like 11 or something. Okay, and my T4 as well. So I will also always hit the hypothalamus and gallbladder connection and the stabilized liver hormones, also fatty acids. And if I was well, like if I am working with a male, then I'm going to activate this one. This one is for the prostate. Okay, so we're going to hit here stabilize hormones and we're going to click OK until we get like 100 and 104. Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. So we're going to get out of here. So since we are here, I like to open we can either go to the nutritional profile or the NLP. So when we go to the nutritional profile, I want to show you, we have in here female problems. I'm not going to answer any questions right now, but once you open this panel, you see right in here hormone balance. So we can click hormone balance and you can click as many times as you need it until you get rectify maximize for today of 101. Okay. Since we are here and we already rectify or balance the hormones, we can also go here to balance the ovaries. Okay, so when we're working with males, you'll see here balance prostate, I think. Okay, so when we're working with hormones, we also need to kind of like balance or reduce the stress in the body. So I will recommend to also click in here so we can balance out the adrenals, okay? And in here, you will notice that you have ovaries balance again, but because we are working with stress, the system, when you click in here, actually the system is using like different, it's a different combination. So this one is working on balancing the ovaries, but focusing on the stress, okay? So we're going to close this out and we're going to go back to the spinal panel. Since we're here, we're going to go to the NLP, okay? And in here in the NLP, we can do brain scan, okay? Health for nutrition. But in here, okay, whoops. Oh, I got a 97. Okay, 99. In here, we can focus on the hypothalamus, okay? So we can click here, as many clicks as we need until we get above 85 or 104, okay? So from here, okay, let me choose. Okay, we can also work here, like disrupt hypothalamus and gallbladder. And when we click in here, you'll see the rectification changing right here. Oops, I have an alarm. Let me just make sure that I treat that alarm. Okay, it's telling me no more therapy, but we're going to bypass the alarm and keep going. Okay. We also can work in the neuropeptide stimulation. Okay. The neuropeptide stimulation it actually helps us to, okay, it works with the small proteins and the molecules that help the neurotransmitters to move in the body and to go where they need to go, okay? So when we stabilize oops, someone else is, wait a second, someone else is asking to join us. Okay, perfect. Okay, so the neuropeptide stimulation, it is very important when we're working imbalance out the hormones, because if we don't have this balance, it's going to be really hard for the hormones to communicate and to navigate and to activate the neurotransmitters that we need. Okay? Also, from here, when we go to therapies, there are a couple in here that we can select when we're working in balancing out the hormones. So this one is mood disorders. Let me see. Have it. Well, sometimes we can also work in here in depression. Okay. This one we already activated in the bottom, that is like from the main panel. Okay, neuropeptide, we already worked that out. Oops. Today, okay. Here, stabilize mood disorders. Okay, this one is also a good choice for this. We can also treat fear and paranoia. Okay, and there is another one that is treat selfish mood. Oh, this one, treat selfish moods. Okay. And in this panel, if we go here to the NLP AFE sub files, oh my God, this name is so crazy. Okay, we can go, okay, in here, where is some sun gazing superpower stimulation? Okay, superpower stimulation. We can go, oh my God. Okay, sun gazing. And the reason why we can work with this is because the sun helps balance our pineal gland and our brain. So when we put these frequencies, it would actually help like all the glands as well in the brain. Okay. The other one that I think is very, very good is we go here. Okay, wait a second. It's not superpower, it's static small band therapies. And from here, do you see this one? We have the pineal and pituitary chakra. So we can also activate this. When we're working with the AFE pulse, this takes around 10 minutes. So you have to manage your time. But the good thing about this is that only when you're working in the AFE pulse, do you have the freedom to select in here your focus, okay? So usually it's in general health, but if I already have clients who they're dealing with like a lot of infections all the time, and I'm always treating that. So I will take advantage of this. And while we're working that, I will focus on the infection as well, or in the degeneration or the injury trauma release. Like in this case, if I'm working with hormones and I have already pretty much pinpoint that the hormonal imbalance is due to trauma, and it's also due to negative belief or inherited things, then I will click in here. Okay, I'm not going to activate this because this is going to eat up pretty much like 10 minutes of our time. Okay. But in here, I have a last one that I want to show you that we can also work to balance out the hormones, and that is the special AFE Air X. And in here, we can also activate 3. Those are general cure. Okay, so we can put here general cure. We can also work in here lymphatic cleanse, and we can also work in here stress involvement. Okay, so we're wrapping up. Let me just close this. So back here in the main matrix, there is a panel that a lot of people tend to forget, but I think it's wonderful when we're balancing out hormones, and it's here in the bio pictures. So if we click here in the bio pictures, as soon as you open this, you will see the hormonal feedback mechanism. So right here, you can click and balance the function treatment. Right in here, you'll see the rectification. So you can click as many times as you need until you get to above 85 and 104. Okay, so I'm going to click that. And we see the rectification in here changing. So it's 99. So I'm going to leave it in this way. Okay, so we're going to close in here. Oops, I keep alarming myself. Perfect. So let me just double check. I think we have I flew through the system today to show you all of this. So the other thing that I wanted to show you, it's kind of like a little trick. If you go to the acupuncture panel, right? Oops, no, not this one. No, I want the one from the universal. Yeah. Okay. Ultrameridian here. You see this trading here? Multiple times you can combine therapies. So if you have the name of different crystals, you can also put those crystals in there. And as you're working the meridians, the crystals will get activated as well. I mean, like the frequency of the crystals. So I have a listing here of crystals that are very, very good to support, to balance out the hormones. So what I did is I will copy and paste those in here, and I will test the meridians items. So usually when we did this, I recommend to do it at the beginning. So when we treat the meridians, it's going to treat them and activate them simultaneously with the power of the crystals. And most of the times you will see how everything rectifies a lot faster, okay? So because I did the treatment of the outer meridians previously, now I have to go like manually, okay? So, okay, we're gonna close here. So the last place where we can work hormones in here is then in the EPR enhancement. So if we open the stimulate reaction or duplicate remedy, we can always come in here and type whatever you need to type. So for example, we need restore hormone imbalance, or if we want to put in here like restore healthy reproductive function now and forever, or I have clients that I'm actually like helping them with their hair or with their nails. So in here, I would write something like restore normal hair growth now and forever, or restore normal health growth for the nails and always. So we can write that in here, and we can also click in here start correction until we hit like 100%. So I don't know if you noticed, but because I got the alarm multiple times and the system kept telling me like you need to stop therapy, and I think I already got like 4 times. So I click here only once and now it's grayed out, okay? Because the system is telling me that I need to stop. So I can always close that and go back. Okay. This is the first time that it that it actually is not allowing me to do it again. So I think this is kind of like my last warning that I need to stop. Okay. Okay. And this is like the beauty with the system that we use is that the system will continuously tell us what are the things that we need to do or not. And when we need to stop, we need to stop, okay? So I'm pretty much done. The last thing that I want to show you is in here in the autofocus app. We can always come in here and in under mentally, we can sap the emotions, okay? We can also, if you're dealing with depression, we can sap depression, okay? And let me just see here in the organs. Let me see. I didn't find the one that I'm actually finding. Okay. So in the detox in here, we can always like detox with these two. That is always a good idea to detox when we're trying to balance something else. As well, like at the beginning, when we are working to balance all hormones, if we click here, we can also go in here onto the autofocus app and auto zap front filter for 5 minutes. And in here, the system is going to pick the ones that with highest reactivity and with the lowest as well. Okay. Well, that's everything from me today. I already showed you like 24 different ways to balance hormones in the system. I hope you like my workshop today. And if you have any questions, like you can open your microphone right now and I will address the questions. Okay.
My first question is related to the screen. The screen is very small and it's very difficult to read. And I can see that the pictures of the participants are big. Maybe there is a way to balance.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, thank you, Dina. I'll have to double check that in the Zoom. I'm not too sure how to change the pictures of
Because
the
I remember that with the Gail, she has a bigger screen. So I don't know, the part of the biofeedback that we can see, during the time I was here, it
Yes.
was difficult to follow. Also because you are very, very quick, and it's impossible between trying to see
Yeah.
and trying to follow.
Okay. Well, thank you for your feedback. Yes, I'll have to double check that. Uh, I have three screens in here, so I don't see things as you see them. I have like different things in multiple screens, so I'll probably have to double check that. Okay, thank you.
Just wanted to pipe in. This is Bambi. As I said in the chat,
Yes.
Dina, or that you can go up to the view and change the view from gallery to speaker to a whole bunch or a few other ways to change it. Plus, two, if it's side by side, you can make the screen bigger and move the line over so Indira is smaller. That's a couple of different ways to do it. And Indira,
Yes.
it's not on this subject. Will you be able to share with us at some point during your occupation of the host seat? Share with us about the doing what Gail does for viruses and so on through what she talked about. Is that you using just is it the auto frequency? I can't remember which one it is. No, it's something else.
Oh,
Where you
you're
make it
talking
go
about
down.
the max treatment?
Yeah, with going up to 100 up at the very top corner. Will you share with us
Sure.
sometime what that's about?
Yes, 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 I can do that. Okay, I just opened the chat in here and people are wondering what is the version that I'm working on.
That
So,
was me.
okay, 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 okay. Yes, so this is the version 4.10.0.0.1.
Right. I accidentally, it's been a very stressful time. I accidentally deleted my 5.5.21, so I had to upgrade to the newest one.
Okay, okay, yes. So this is the latest version. And I don't know if it's part of your practice, but I was taught that it's good like to remove the software and to kind of like remove and install the software every so often because it's not like a new version, but they have actualizations, I can say. So,
I appreciate what you're saying, but I actually deleted it.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oops. Big oops.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yes. Okay. So for the max therapies, we need to go here under universal biofeedback. Okay. Let me just open that. And when we arrive to this panel for the very first time, this button right here at the bottom is hidden. So the way to activate this is by clicking into any of the auto therapy. So sometimes you can only click like auto meridian, open and close, and then you will see this max treatment button right here at the bottom. So I got used to using this pretty much like in every session. And okay, so let me explain how to use it. So you open here. First, you have to click here, max treatment. Then you have these warnings. You have to click OK 2 times. And then you have to write, I am responsible. But you have to type it exactly like this. If you type everything in capital, it's not going to unlock the panel. Or if you make a spelling mistake, it's not going to unlock the panel. So once we have the right password, this is going to open and you have all these questions. You can just check everyone and you have to do it in order. Once you have checked all of those, you have these three options in here. When we do the auto rife,
Yeah.
right? Here, what you are actually doing is that you're balancing out all the organs of the body at the same time, but you're also opening all the energetic channels of the body at the same time. I'm talking about the 55. And also, you are neutralizing all the pathogens at once. Okay, so it is very powerful. Like I have done it with myself multiple times. When I started, usually I will do it until here the bar goes to 100%. Okay, so this is the bar that we're talking. Okay, so it's always a lot stronger when the person is hooked to the device. But I don't know if you noticed, but in my practice, I have the majority of my clients in subspace. So when I have them in subspace, I will not follow like the number of times that I'm doing this. I will I will go by the bar until I get like 100%. Right now, I think I did like 4 or 5 times and I reached 100%. I remember the first time I did it, I was hooked to the device and it took me almost 15 times to reach 100%. But I have to say, when we're doing the max treatment, it's a very strong therapy. So I always like to try things on myself before I do it with anybody else. So what I noticed is that after doing this, I felt like there is a duality there because I felt like really tired. My body, in some parts, I was feeling like a little bit of shaking, like I was trembling, but I didn't do anything else. I only did this like 15 times and I closed the program. That was the session for the day. Okay.
Oh, you didn't go through the homotoxicology and detox or anything?
No. I only did that. So in other times, like for example, if I right now I only did 5 times. So from here, I will go and do like SAR codes and I will go to homotox.
Homotoxic, yeah.
Yes, homotox, and I will detox from there. I sometimes I also like to go here into Thine therapies because we can also send like a detox pulse from here. So in here I will go to the intestinal, right, to make sure that I open those channels. I can also do the skin in here to open that channel. Okay. And then I'll go to, I like to open Homotox from here, from the virtual doctor.
Yeah.
Let me just see. Probably because I'm working in hormones balance and we'll go here. Okay, I'll train all. And here we'll go to Homotox. So every time I'm here in Homotox, the first thing I do is I will click into info, click first. And I want to see here what is the left spin. So left spin means the side where our chakras are spinning, okay? So we always need to have the left spin number higher than the right spin. When right now, like I'm a very bad example, because I'm exhausted. So I notice that when I'm exhausted, my left spin will decrease from the right one. So we can treat this in the main matrix, okay? I'm gonna show you in a couple of minutes. But the reason why we want to treat this is because when our left spin is lower than the right, it's easier for us to get sick. Okay, so we're gonna close here. I also from here like to open this mental panel and I will treat in here the emotions. Okay. Okay, and usually I will treat it until it grades out. Okay, until it tells me no more therapy from here. And in here, the way I like to work this is from top to bottom. This is pretty much like the way I see it. This is like we start from the external part to from the macro to the micro. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why we go like this. In here, as you notice, I have degen like checked by itself. So what we can do is that we click in here one and we'll do one at a time. I already know that it's not going to allow me because I got the alarm multiple times. So because I know it's going to shut down very quickly, I'm going to focus on my adrenal, thyroid, and pancreas. So because when we click in here, it will auto select, but we can also add other things. So I'm going to make sure that I add in here my thyroid, my pancreas, and the pituitary hypo and pineal gland. Okay, so in here we can always go test no salt, and there are multiple ways in here. I've seen people that will click line by line, okay, until you get until you get like 100. Okay, this you need a lot of time to do this. Usually I will only do this for example for myself, or if I have clients that they come twice a week. So if I know that we have time to work a lot of things, then I will focus on line by line. If I don't have the time, then we can go here 3 top 5 until we get, whoops, see the alarm is coming, until we get like the 100%. Okay, so we're gonna click in here. Let me see here. For the additional factors, I will also click the ones that we have above 104. So see here, you see a stomach violation. I'm going to do that. Whoops. But I'm gonna leave it in there at 98. I also have leaky gut. Perfect. I got 100%. And in here. Perfect. So once I have that, we're gonna hide this, and then in here we can detox. Okay.
So just asking,
Yeah.
with the different categories,
Yes.
instead of putting in the individual, as you said, adrenal, so on and so on, have you ever put the mesodermal tissues in? So then it does that whole section?
Mesodermal. Yes, 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 I have done that. I have done that. In here we see like prostate, ovaries. Yes, this one is a really good one. And it makes a lot of sense because we're working on balancing on the hormones. So yes, for sure. This one, the mesodermal, the third line, we can work on that.
Oh, the whole category.
The whole, yes, the thing is like so far, I was taught to do like one by one. Did you have a tip how to treat the whole category at once?
I just put in mesodermal tissues.
Oh, look at that. Okay, we're always learning. That's great.
I don't know, giving it a whirl, see how it works. That's what I did.
That's a great idea. Okay, let me just see. you know what? I'm going to take a note of that and I'm going to try that on myself.
Yeah.
To see how that goes.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Let me just type that in here in Hormonal box. Mesodermal tissue to treat
Or
all.
even all mesodermal tissues.
That's great. All mesodermal tissues. Perfect. Excellent. Oh my God, I love this. Oh yes, that reminds me. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the class portal, but I love class portal. Okay, and I use it all the time. So
Before you go in there,
Yes.
sorry, before you go in there, regarding the max treatment, you
Yes.
work with Rife and the others. You used to go there, the other two, Varrope and I think it is another one.
Automeridian.
Yes.
Yeah.
In here, you can also work for the auto Trivector and the auto Varhold. Let me just pull out my notes. So
do you remember what, as you said, that Rife is going to harmonize the organs? Do
yes.
you know what the others can do?
Yes, give me a second. Let me just go through my notes. Because if I don't find it like right now, what I'll do is that I'm going to put that information in the chat box later, okay? Because
Okay.
I have multiple documents with that information, but yes, I don't want to say anything like on the top of my head. I want to revise my information before I answer that question, okay?
Okay, okay.
But I'll get back to you on that.
But in one session, you just do the rife, correct?
Yes, yes, because I know with the Rife, I am literally balancing like all the organs, and we're also opening all the 55 channels. And the most important thing for me too is that we're neutralizing like the pathogens.
Okay.
Because those are like three very big components when you're trying to balance out like the entire system. You need to spend time on that. So because of that, that is kind of like a short wait or shortcut to do all of that in one place. The other thing that I was about to forget in here, thank you for making me come back in here, is that I don't know if you guys use a lot the Rife generator in here, but I'm quite a fan of that as well. And we have some Rife frequencies that we can use to balance hormones. And I'm going to share that as well in the document that I'll put in the chat later. So
I like to
we have,
use the rife
yes,
therapy. Yeah, I
okay.
like.
So I'm going to show you just this for a moment. So we have in here for hormonal imbalances is 5.5. This is 5.5 hertz. I just removed the hertz because I usually copy and paste this in here. But this is like for general. You can use this for female or male. But for woman hormonal imbalance, we can use 50.5 and 537, okay? And I also divide them into subcategories. So we have like for the menstrual problems or when we have imbalances, for example, when women are going on the menopause, we can also use this sequence of bright frequencies with this one. Or if we need to, also when I'm working, especially with children, that we need to stimulate the pituitary gland to increase growth, I usually use this. And I have a client that he have grown 2 centimeters in 2 months. And this person is almost 40 years old.
Oh,
So I know he was like, oh, can you help me? Like, I would like to grow a couple of centimeters. And I was like, well, you're almost 40. Well, do whatever you can. Let's see if it works. So I use this in every session. Like he comes also once a week. And we did this like for 2 months. And the other day I got a message like, oh, by the way, I measured myself and I have 2 extra centimeters. And I was, oh my God, that's great. Yes. So in here, usually, I don't know if you guys are familiar how to use the riff generator, but what we can do is that you can either copy all of them. Well, once you decide what is it that you're working with, you need to make sure that you have double space in between
The numbers.
the numbers. Okay, let me just, okay, sorry. Okay, so we're gonna put it here. So we can put it on the upper frequency and lower frequency. And okay, I haven't used this in a long time. So I think it's 24 and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 24 on top and 24 at the bottom. In here, we have to hit 33 and 120.
120.
And then I remember this doing like a triangle.
Okay. Yeah.
And in here, we set up the time.
Yeah.
It really depends. I noticed that, for example, when I'm working on myself, the timer works fine on up till 19 minutes. Okay, if you put 20 minutes, then I don't know, something happens in the system and the entire program will kind of like collapse, or the timer is not going to work out. So you can do either 3 minutes at a time when we're working on a regular session, like you hit 3 minutes and then click start. Remember, I don't have the device hook, so sometimes this is going to act a little bit funny, but what I do is that you can do 3 minutes, and if you have time, you can do that 3 times. So it's going to be like a total of 9 minutes, okay? But if you have more time, this here works wonders. So sometimes I do 15 minutes, and then I'll come back and I will add another 15 minutes. And this is like working in pretty much everything as well, okay? So, okay.
When we want to work with Rife, we can maybe only do the calibration and come directly here.
Yes, you can do that. Okay, let me see. Okay, now my system is not responding. But before we finish this session, because yes, I want to do just 1 hour. I don't want to take too much time for this. I want to show you here in the class portal. The class portal is an amazing program, and it's a software that you can either run simultaneously with the class 64, or you can run it on his own. So, for example, in here, you'll see that my device is connected to the class portal, okay? But in case you want to use it simultaneously with the class 64, you'll have to click here, run without device, okay? So, and I will encourage you to decide which one you want to guide the box before opening them, okay? Because sometimes the computer is gonna be kind of like confused. So for example, if I open my class 64 first, the device is gonna be attached to the class 64 right away, okay? So when you open this one, you will have to click here. So this software is not gonna be looking up the connection with the box, okay? So either way, they work. The class portal works wonders. I love it. So when we go here to the class basics training, when we're working with hormones, so if the person is hooked to the device, so the person has like the bands and everything, you don't need to waste time creating the client. But if you're not connecting the person with the bands and you're not working with the device, then you need to create the client, okay? So in this case, I'm going to, whoops, I shouldn't be sharing this information, but I'm going to click myself. And in here, because we're working in hormones, in Class Portal, we have 706 different therapies. So you have a big selection in here. But for the hormone support, I will work on pituitary disease. So when you hit here, sometimes you can click auto test. And if the auto test is above 25 minutes, that means that the system, like your body recognize the frequencies that are in this list, and it's saying like, oh, I need those, okay? Or I will benefit from that. So once you have more than 25, I will definitely encourage you to run that. But it's always better to run this for 60 minutes. So you can come here and run this for an entire hour. And you'll see like, you'll see wonders after running this for 60 minutes. The other thing that I will work out to balance hormones will be fertility. You can also do the auto test, but if you know the person is having like issues with their hormones and everything, you can go here and click 60 minutes and work that out. You can also do regeneration, boosting regeneration. The set of frequencies that we have in this list, it's amazing, and it also triggers pretty much like every organ, every gland, every detox system. So We can also activate this for 60 minutes. And sometimes, like depending on the clients that I have, I don't open my class 64. I only open the portal and I will connect them and I will put in here 60 minutes. And then while they're getting all this is a therapy on its own. So while they're getting that, I will work with them in other things. Okay? Well, so that's everything for today. Let me close this. We're gonna close the program now. Let me just see. Okay, no more questions here. Okay, so that's everything for today. Thank you very much for joining me. It was my pleasure. And if you have any other questions, like you can always send those via the Facebook group, and I will try to reply to them as soon as possible. Okay.